Mr. Alderman Cooper, we are ready to go.
Are you ready,
Sorry about
Chad?
the delay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you for the comic relief as well.
Thank you for the update, Chad. All right. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Chief Martin going to lead us in prayer. Yes.
Good evening, Board. Please join me in prayer. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for another beautiful day in the Ozarks, and thankful for this board for their service to the community as we bring this agenda before you tonight, that as discussions are had, decisions are made, that they will be to the benefit of our community. Father, we love you, praise you. Thank you for your forgiveness. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chief. All right, I will be running the meeting tonight, but also will maintain my representation for Ward 1, and we'll be voting on tonight's matters. I believe Mayor Milton is joining us. Is he on through Zoom? So the mayor is on. Madam Clerk, will you please provide a roll call?
Lucas. Present. Howden. Here. Cooper.
Here.
Milton. He's coming on here just one second. Denham. Here. LeBlanc.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Mayor, can you hear?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, you have a quorum.
All right. Chief Martin, you want to come down and give out some special awards?
Absolutely, thank you. On behalf of the Mayor, Board of Aldermen, City Administrator, and City staff, it's my honor to announce the Fire Department employees Captain Michael McCarty, Engineer Jared Easton, and Firefighter Caden Akins as City of Branson September 2025 Employee of the Month in the Special Accommodation category. If you all three would come down and head this way. This category recognizes employees who have encountered life-saving or particularly dangerous situations. Truck 2B shift responded to the Comfort Inn and Suites on Gretna Road for a male patient who was experiencing chest pains. While on scene, the patient went into full cardiac arrest. The crew immediately began life-saving efforts, including CPR and the use of an AED. A Branson police officer arrived and assisted with the compressions while TCAD paramedics initiated advanced life support measures. Because of this coordinated response, the patient regained a pulse and began breathing on his own. This incident is a clear demonstration of excellence and teamwork between the fire and police departments and TCAD and reflects the high standard of service our community expects from its first responders. Congratulations and keep up the great work.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
That was loud.
It's candid, Jason.
Sorry.
You know.
Sorry. This Clay stops laughing.
I might ask you to do that again later. Okay, hang on. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, okay. Wait, one more. Hold on.
Oh.
Come back, Ted. Come back.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it.
Great work, guys. Thank you so much.
All right. That's a great way to open it. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Chief. All right, this is the public comment section of the Board of Aldermen meeting. At this time, the board will hear the citizens who have signed up in the order they are listed. Please note the clerk will let speakers know when they have 30 seconds left, and a notification will sound when their time is up. We ask that speakers wrap up their comments upon hearing the 30-second warning. If a speaker would like a board member to bring an item from the consent agenda down for additional discussion, please note this request during comments. Please come to the freestanding mic right in front of us to address the board. Madam Clerk, do we have any speakers?
Yes, sir. We have two speakers. Our first speaker is Bobby Wydeen, speaking on 2 shout-outs.
Hello, Bobby.
Good evening. Sorry, I'm short. I have 2 shout-outs. The first one is thank you for the Great Lakes Naval Band. It was a great concert, and it was a little bit of home for me since I grew up near the Navy base. And Great Lakes is an important part of my family history. My grandfather, Fay Snell, who was born in Exeter, Missouri, and grew up in Northwest Arkansas, was drafted into World War I by the Navy and reported to Great Lakes, where he met my grandmother, Agnes Zezerzeski, who was the usherette at the local movie house. And the rest is history. My second shout out is to Amy in the water billing department, who helped me first thing Monday morning. There was a water main break in the American Water, which is a little bit south of Head Start, but I kept getting messages that we wouldn't have water, but we had water, and, was it safe, was it not? She helped me tell me that we are part of the Branson system, and we were safe, and we could open the center, so thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. What was that last name? Wasowinski? I knew she would get it. That's nice, yeah. Who's our next speaker, Hillary?
Our next speaker and final speaker is Gary Groman, speaking on Schultz's abstention when no just isn't brilliant enough.
Good evening. During the August 26, 2025 meeting of the board, Alderman Schultz abstained from voting on an ordinance he proposed. His original ordinance proposed an extension of the historic downtown Branson Community Improvement District for 10 years. Alderman LeBanc thought that 3 years was more appropriate, and 3 of the other 4 aldermen present agreed. The vote on the amendment was 3-2, with Alderman Schultz and Lucas voting no. When they took the vote on the amended ordinance, instead of simply voting no, as he did on the amendment, Schultz voted abstain. When the mayor made an inquiry as to his reason for the abstention, Schultz gave none. The video of the meeting showing Schultz during the discussion of his abstention, to me, is reminiscent of the arrogant General Douglas MacArthur type stare in newspapers and magazines during the Korean conflict when someone dared to question his approach. As a 9-year-old boy with 2 cousins, Larry and Teddy, in the U.S. Marine Corps serving in Korea, all I knew at the time was he looked mean, and I was glad that they were in the Marine Corps and not in the Army. It wasn't until years later, after I joined the Marine Corps, that I realized they were actually under his command, and the price in wounded and dead that command cost both the Army and the Marine Corps. Schultz could have voted no, but being who he is and operating as he does, he had to abstain. Why didn't he simply vote no as he did on the amendment? Obviously, I can't read his mind, but I believe it was a combination of factors. The first being that, like MacArthur in Korea and his arrogant approach to the entry of China into the Korean War, he seemingly believes that his way is the only way. And second, like MacArthur, he can't resist the opportunity to show the room how brilliant he is. This time, not only by introducing another dilatory obstructionist tactic, but the arrogant manner in which he did so. I fully realize that there's 2 drastically different situations, but feel there was a similarity in the arrogant thought process of the 2 principles involved. During that meeting and while voting on the city issue, Schultz made a point of saying that for an ordinance in a Class 4 city to pass, state law requires favorable votes from a majority of the elected board members to pass. Why he didn't simply quote the words, quote, "No bill shall become an ordinance unless its final passage, a majority of the members elected to the board shall vote for it," from Section 268 of the Branson Municipal Code. To me, the answer is obvious and is consistent with the way he operates. The net result is that nothing becomes an ordinance unless on its final passage, a majority of the members of the elected to the board vote for it. That requires 4 votes from the board. However, if there is a tie among the aldermen, 3 yes votes and 3 no votes, the code provides that the mayor, also a member of the board, will vote to break the tie. However, the current wording of the code neuters the mayor's right to break the tie if an alderman abstains. Unless an ordinance states otherwise, in Robert's Rules of Orders and elsewhere, it is generally accepted that an abstention is not counted as a vote. That leads to the situation where, in the above example, if instead of voting no, 1 alderman abstains, The result is 3 yes votes, 2 no votes, and 1 abstention. There is no tie vote, and the mayor does not get to vote. Accordingly, it is suggested that Section 2-77 of the Branson Municipal Code be rewritten to mitigate this type of situation. Here's an example how one Missouri municipality does it. It is the duty of every member to attend meetings, if not excused, and to vote on questions before the board, unless such member has a conflict of interest, in which case the member shall abstain. If a member believes they have a conflict of interest, they must state it, and the minutes will record it in the statement. In voting on ordinances, first and second reading, the vote of any member of the Board of Aldermen who is absent at a meeting or who is present when a matter is put to a vote, abstains or otherwise refuses or fails to vote for any reason, shall be considered a no vote for the purposes of determining whether or not a tie exists under Section 2-64 of the Branson Municipal Code. I plugged in our code. Otherwise, we can end up with a situation where one alderman could negate weeks of work and everything else. I would suggest we take a look at it, and I'll forward a copy of this to the city attorney
30
tomorrow
seconds.
morning. Yeah, anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Gary.
Miss,
Yeah, go ahead.
in the past, I believe, I don't know how long ago it was changed, but I thought our ordinance did read something like that, that if you abstained, it was a no vote. So I think this is worth looking into because it's been changed and it's real neutral.
Because I feel like it was like that when I joined, and I think it got changed, right? Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Good? All right, next is the consent agenda. Are there any items that any member of the board or staff would like to have moved down from the consent agenda to ask additional questions or comments?
I would like item number 10 to be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the first item on the regular agenda.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please read the items on the consent agenda as amended?
Your Honor, the items on the consent agenda as amended are as follows. Approval of the Board of Aldermen minutes for the August 19th, 2025 special meeting and August 26th, 2025 regular meeting. Acknowledge receipt of monthly contract report from August 4th, 2025 to September 1st, 2025. Final reading of bill number 6581, an ordinance approving the amended Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive tax increment financing plan designating a redevelopment area, declaring the proposed redevelopment area a blighted area, and designating Branson Meadows, TIF Co. LLC, and the City of Branson or the city's designee as the developers of the redevelopment projects. Final reading of bill number 6582, an ordinance approving a tax increment financing redevelopment agreement between the City of Branson and Branson Meadows, TIF Co. LLC for the implementation of the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive tax increment financing plan and authorizing the mayor to execute contract documents. Final reading of bill number 6583, an ordinance approving an amended plan for an industrial development project and cost-benefit analysis for the Branson Meadows project, authorizing the city to engage bond counsel for the issuance of industrial revenue bonds and authorizing all other actions necessary to issue bonds. Final reading of bill number 6584, an ordinance approving the petition for establishment of the Branson Mills Community Improvement District and establishing the Branson Mills Community Improvement District. Final reading of bill number 6585, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the cooperative agreement for the administration of the Branson Mills Community Improvement District. Final reading of bill number 6586, an ordinance authorizing city staff and consultants to file a petition for the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive Transportation Development District. And final reading of bill number 6587, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute the cooperative agreement for the administration of the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive Transportation Development District. Your Honor, that concludes the reading of the consent agenda as amended.
All right, do I have a motion approving all the items on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Madam Clerk, will you now provide a roll call vote, please?
Lucas? Howden? Yes. Cooper?
Yes.
Denham?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the final reading of bill number 6588, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of Branson, Missouri, approving the extension of the term of the historic downtown Branson Community Improvement District, approving the second amended and restated cooperative agreement between the district and the City of Branson, Missouri, and authorizing the mayor to execute the agreement.
All right, you've heard the first reading of bill number 6588. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
That should have been final. Apologies.
Final, sorry,
If you
yeah.
could just clarify that
Final.
for the record.
You've heard the final reading of Bill number 6588. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Is Solon presenting this, or how's the discussion start? How would you like to? Is that okay? Our city attorney, Solon. Solon.
All right. Did I miss it? Did they put the an amendment forward? Okay. So,
So just to clarify, it's just on the floor right now for final reading. There has
Okay.
not been any amendment made
okay.
at this moment.
So I don't think I'm presenting anything on this yet. I would be presenting on any amendments that came on the floor.
Well, so we'll have to open it up for discussion. Any board members?
Your Honor, I move to amend Bill number 6588 by incorporating all of the changes displayed in red to Exhibit A, second amended and restated cooperative agreement.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Now we have a motion and a second on the amendment, right?
And I'm really here just to answer any questions that anyone may have on this amendment. And for the public, I'll provide some comment on it. So the SID, anyone that was at the last meeting was aware that we had a first read of a proposed bill and cooperative agreement. In the time that passed, we had discussions and communications with the SID, and they had presented some alternatives that we considered, and we worked on redlining a solution that the city was okay with, and that's what you're seeing here tonight. And when I say the city, I just mean city staff, of course. The city's ultimate decision is made by the Board of Aldermen, and so that to be okay with the city would mean you guys all voted with a majority to approve it. So if you have any questions about that, I'm more than happy to answer those questions.
Any board members want to discuss the changes, red line changes? Anyone from the audience? No? Well, do you want to run through the changes? I mean, I know we know the changes.
Yeah,
but-
I'd be more than happy to run through them if we want to run through
Okay,
them.
hey, Gary, can you, yeah,
Yep, let's do it.
that's kind of what I was expecting,
Okay.
but you didn't seem too eager, so I didn't know.
I will run through them. This will be great.
Okay.
So if you look at the first page, both of these red lines were suggestions from the SID. I'm okay with those, and so legal counsel would recommend, it's okay to proceed with removing those from the agreement. If you could scroll down to the next page, that one also is captured in there. Scroll down to the city enhancements. This is just including some stuff or removing some kind of imposed greater than normal numbers on the trash receptacles that have to be provided in the district, and changes that out with the term reasonable. We want to be able to provide reasonable trash service, but we can't provide greater than normal trash service than what is provided in other SIDs and other areas of the city. So the purpose of that is just to give us some leeway to be able to provide great service there, but also give the SID what they're looking for. That was a red line by the city. And then I'll have a general statement as far as the discussions between the SID's attorney and myself about some of these when we're finished. So the next change is on page 3 here. And that is just the SID, and you'll see it later on down in this agreement, the SID asked to be able to include a section on landscaping services. They wanted to be able to contractually be allowed to provide their own landscaping services. This definition here, the red line here, is just kind of adding that in to the agreement so that, and this was our red line so that we could allow to make sure that that paragraph that the SID proposed is fully incorporated properly into the agreement.
Solid, so that's a red line that the SID board added?
This is one that we added to the
Can you,
agreement.
before each one, can you just clarify who added, just for
Yep.
people following along?
Yeah, so this one was added by the city, but in response to the SID adding another paragraph, and this was just saying, hey, thanks for adding that paragraph. We think that this paragraph needs to be altered to make that consistent with the rest of the agreement. And then if you scroll down to page 6, this was a SID proposed red line. I don't have any issues with this one. This is just, calling the city instead of the party. Paragraph 5, this also goes to that landscaping, just providing some more. So this paragraph refers to an exhibit in this agreement. What's going on here with this landscaping is that the CID is asking for the city in this agreement to allow the CID to contract with a third party to come on city property to landscape flower beds downtown. And so in order to do that, the city wants to protect its interest and require that contractor to indemnify the city should something bad happen while they're there. There was no indemnity provision that was provided by the CID when they asked to add that, so we added that in. And this red line was put in by the city, and the reference to the Exhibit B is pretty much a reference to the standard language we put in our services agreements to accommodate contracts that the city enters into and requires contractors to indemnify the city. I wouldn't, so the other thing, it's my understanding, and I think this is accurate, that the contractor that the city is going to use is one that the city actually uses, and I believe it's Opie's. And so Opie's has, in the past, has entered into this same indemnification clause with the city, and so I don't anticipate they'll have any issues if the CID asks them to do the same, but I mean, I guess they could, but we don't think they will. Paragraph 3.5, this agreement does ask for the CID to contribute to some of the human capital expenses and vehicles and equipment that are used to maintain the downtown area. And so as a part of that, we have put in some language in here, and you'll see it in a little bit, where there's a payment that the CID will pay to the city as long as the CID makes a certain amount of revenue or collects a certain amount of revenue. And so this first paragraph with this red line here is something the city added. And I think the other terms were generally agreeable, and that was that the CID would make a lump sum payment in the first year of $45,000. Now, the reason why it's a lump sum is because we won't be able to know if the CID reaches a threshold of revenue until the following year. And so to get money to the city for the first year, we would have to just ask for an amount. So this amount is actually lower than what we think the percentage amount will be in the subsequent years. And that was the city trying to, in good faith, give them, a lower amount, but still compensate the city for some of the expenses that it was incurring. Then if you go down to the next page, this is where, as part of, so you can see on 3.6, this is the landscaping provision that the CID asked for with a couple of caveats that I've added, and I'll point those out. But at the top of the page, last week, the board passed a bill that would be collecting 9% of revenue once they hit 600. So once the CID's revenues hit $670,000, they then would pay the city 9%, last week's bill, 9% of the CID revenues from then on, from before that and then on. And so what the CID said was, hey, we want to add this maintenance thing in, but we'd like you guys to drop the percentage we owe you down to 7%. We did some numbers, and we felt like that was a fair compromise, and so I don't see an issue with this. It's almost apples to apples. I think the Opie's contract was somewhere in the teens of thousands of dollars, and then the 2% of their expected revenue for this year was about $14,600. So they're pretty similar numbers. And then if you look down in the bottom of the first paragraph up there, that's something that I've added in. And in fairness to the CID, they do have this, but it was sent to them today. This change here was the first time they saw it was today, because this has been a very back and forth process, and we've received things last minute from them. They've received things because we just have a timeline here. I don't think this will be an issue, but I don't know. But basically, we're just asking that they, or putting in here that they can contribute more if they want to. It's not obligating them to, but if they wanted to give more, they could. Okay, so in the landscaping maintenance section, most of this was drafted by the CID. I did define the landscape services because I talk about other red lines in the contract, and so I needed to be able to reference it. So that's different. And then if you look down at the last sentence, that was also added. And I believe everything else is the same. I'm pretty sure that everything else is the same there. All right, moving on to the next one. That might have been the last one. So the last thing is really the Exhibit B, and this is our typical indemnification provisions that we require in service contracts for contractors to agree to, provide insurance and name the city as an additional insured on their policies. And so, like I said, OPES has, I believe, done this with the city in the past on projects they've done for us, and so I don't imagine they'll have any issues with this. Other than that, those are the only changes that we've made. Now, oops, I just closed mine out on accident. Ours, up on here, you'll see the term is still at 3 years, and that was to encourage and both parties here, meaning the CID and the city, to work together to get a long-term solution in place. So I think we've gotten to a point where we're pretty close to an agreement on what everyone wants to see with the downtown CID, a trolley continuing, maximum powers under the CID Act for the downtown CID. And so if those things can come together right, then I think that I would recommend, and it's ultimately your decision, but I would recommend a long-term term for the CID, 20 years or so. So this 3 years that's recommended in here gives us some breathing room in order to make that happen, because there's some processes statutorily that have to happen before a longer term could be amended and changed. Any questions?
Board?
Solon, with your last comment there about possibly, wanting to do a 20-year extension, I mean, it's still your opinion, I guess, that the scope of the petition should be amended, correct?
I think that, it doesn't make sense to me to limit a CID's petition, a CID's powers like this one. I think there's other needs in the area that this, especially as this CID grows in revenues, that could be addressed with these excess revenues over time. And 20 years is a long time. And so, if we were to have just extended this without doing that, that's not really helpful, because it kind of pigeonholes them into only being able to provide, these 4 trolleys, or however many, the need grows to over the years. But they could provide the trolleys and more if their revenues match that. So I think the idea is that, within this next 3 years, we work really hard to make sure that happens so that they can expand their powers and do more things for the downtown area.
And I'm really not trying to put you on the spot, because we've had a lot of conversations about this, but really what I'm trying to get at is sort of revisiting the concept that perhaps we should postpone this until the next Board of Aldermen meeting, because I think the other idea being that we just bring this back, well, if we approve this tonight, that's 3 years. And then if we were to bring it back for a longer term, that wouldn't mitigate the issue of having to amend the scope of the petition.
That's correct.
Right.
So we cannot, there's a big process that you have to go through. You have to get signatures from property owners. And so we can't do that in time in order to, do this the right way. So the 3 years that's proposed here is to give us the time that the statutes require to be able to do that the right way.
Kathy, you have something?
Thank you. First off, I see that Kyle, our co-chair, Kyle, is it Yunk or Junk? Yunk. Okay, good. So just so I know, I won't mispronounce you anymore. I just wanted to give a public acknowledgement and appreciation to Kyle, who's the co-chair of the CID board, for a really positive, productive, candid meeting that we were able to have today, or together, and work through what the vision is, and really There wasn't any, I can't think of any disagreement that we had on it, which was brilliant. I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, I only wish we could have done that so many months earlier, but that's behind us, and we're moving forward together, and I just want to thank you for showing your leadership and your commitment to the downtown. It was exemplary, so thank you for that. And I also just want to recommit that we have been working tirelessly on this, and I've been banging on Solon's door like we've got, I mean, he's just been working on this nonstop too, but the timing together has just been such a challenge to be able to put it in the ideal scenario that the CID was looking for, like being able to get the 20 years right off the bat. So, but thank you again, Kyle, for that, and my hope is that the rest of your board sees it the way we're all presenting it tonight, and that we can keep moving forward and not wait 3 years, but we can get it done way sooner than that, hopefully. So thank you, Kyle.
Any other board members have comments? Nobody. Anybody from the audience wishing to speak on this? Kyle, you have anything you want to add? Okay. All right. Hearing none, are we going to take a vote on the amendment, right?
Yes, correct.
As amended, yeah.
Well, just, right now, it's just on the amendment. And
We're voting on the amendment. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign?
The result of the vote is 5-0. Motion carries on the amendment.
All right. One last chance. Any board members wishing to speak regarding this bill as amended? Anyone in the audience? No? All right. Madam Clerk, will you provide a roll call vote on the bill as amended?
Lucas? Howden?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes?
Denham?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries, and I apologize, the amendment was also 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6589, an ordinance approving the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive TIF Plan Redevelopment Project Area 1 and adopting tax increment financing therein.
All right, you've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6589. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Wow. Y'all sure? All right. All right, we have a motion and a second, and begin a report from Lindsay. Welcome back.
Hello, thank you. Good evening. As you know, I'm Lindsay Kolish with Lauber Municipal Law, and we serve the city as Special Economic Development Council. So I'm here tonight to discuss the next 3 ordinances that are on your agenda, all in relation to the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive TIF plan that was just approved on consent. So as we've discussed, very generally, tax increment financing is the collection of economic activity taxes and payment in lieu of taxes, which are then reimbursed back to the developer after they're collected. That collection begins when we officially activate tax increment financing, and that is done by ordinance of the Board of Aldermen. That also starts the 23-year clock on collecting EATs and pilots to reimburse the developer. So under the TIF Act, all of the project areas must be approved within 10 years of the approval of the TIF plan, and this ordinance for redevelopment project area 1 would activate tax increment financing at project area 1 when it's approved.
All right. Any discussion from the board? Anyone in the audience? Hearing none, please vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6590, an ordinance approving the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive TIF Plan Redevelopment Project Area 2 and adopting tax increment financing therein.
All right, you've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6590. Do I have a motion approving the bill?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and back to Lindsay.
And this ordinance is the same thing, but for redevelopment project area 2.
That's it?
That's all I've got. I can say what I said earlier again.
Golly. I get. I hope the next one's even shorter. All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6591, an ordinance approving the Gretna Road and Town and Country Drive TIF Plan Redevelopment Project Area 3 and adopting tax increment financing therein.
You've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6591. Motion approving the bill?
Second.
Motion and a second. Lindsay.
Redevelopment Project Area 3.
Whoa. Come on. All right. Anybody from the board wishing to speak on that little short summary? Anyone from the audience? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6592, an ordinance approving the public service agreement with the Veterans Memorial Garden Incorporated for maintaining the beauty of the Branson Veterans Memorial Garden and authorizing the mayor to execute the documents related thereto.
You've heard the first reading of Bill Number 6592. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Ooh, yeah. We have a motion and a second, and we'll begin a report from Allison.
Good evening. The Branson Veterans Memorial Garden was founded by Ben Kennel in 2007, honoring veterans in a public way with the living landscape of this garden. It runs solely on donations and takes a lot of money to run the garden. Representatives from the Veterans Memorial Garden have requested help from the city to assist in the upkeep of the garden. This ordinance approves a public service agreement between the city of Branson and the Veterans Memorial Garden, allowing the allocation of $5,000 to be used in 2025 for watering the garden. Are there any questions about the service agreement?
Any board members?
Hey, I just want to say I really appreciate this coming forward to us. This will be the third time, I believe, that we've done this, if that's correct. When we first did it, there was certainly a need that the Memorial Garden came to us with. But then last year, there was just a little bit of not understanding of whether that was an annual thing or it was a one-time thing. So we had to kind of bring it up, but I just appreciate that this got brought to us this year. Obviously, we can't obligate future boards to anything, but just the idea that this will potentially, if the current administration is in place and everything stays the same, kind of come to us like this. I really appreciate it because, boy, as far as faith, family, and flag and what our community represents, on the front porch of Branson, it doesn't get much better than what the Veterans Memorial Garden offers, and this little measly sum of $5,000 can go a long way in helping them. So I really appreciate all the staff work that went behind this, and obviously everybody that does their part to maintain that garden. So thank you.
Ditto that, Marshall. I think when Jana came to me about this a few years ago, I thought, well, I can't promise you the help, but I think we could make it happen. So I'm glad we can make it happen, because it doesn't seem like a whole lot of money, but it means a whole lot to what they have going on there. Any other else, board? No?
Ditto.
Ditto. Anybody in the audience want to speak on this? All right. Oh, come on, Jana. Oh, boy. Put the clock on, 5 minutes. Here we go. Jana's going to talk. She loves a microphone. Yeah.
We just got out of a golf tournament.
I love it.
This is the board of directors. I wanted them here tonight. This is the faces of some of our volunteers, and we wanted to wear our ball caps and look cool like Clay. Anyway, we just want to thank you so much. This really, really does help. We're open 365 days a year. We're a theater that's open every day here, and we are part of your tourism, and we see grown men cry up there a lot. And we've had a huge busy summer this summer. God blessed us with some wonderful flowers thanks to the water bill being helped out there, because we had a lot of heat and not much rain, as you well know. But we're about to shut down, and we're about to get going for fall for our veterans that are coming into town. And you are part of us because of the statue that you put up there. Branson put that statue up there for a reason. That has become a huge part of a lot of publicity that we see all the time in magazines from the chamber and all kinds of businesses. This is going to be very important for 2026. And we need this money to help us be beautiful, to help our city become the most patriotic city of America in 2026. And we are the gateway. The Veterans Garden is. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you all. Wait. This is Dot Mallon and Judy Bryant. They're on the board of directors. Thank you.
Hit them straight.
Yeah. Nice tan, nice tan.
Marshall, we'd like to see you up there again with more of your granddaddy's irises from Tennessee.
Thanks, Jana. Tell Dennis hi. Did we vote yet?
No, sir.
Oh, hey, see, you should have waited and see if this passes for you. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All opposed, same sign. I'm hearing none. Okay, y'all are dismissed.
The result of the vote, 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a presentation of the second quarter 2025 financials for the city of Branson.
And we'll begin with a report from Allison.
Good evening. If Chad can bring up my presentation, we'll get started. So these are the second quarter financials for the city of Branson, and we'll start off with the general fund. So this is the general fund and revenue and expenditures compared to prior years. So you can see there's 23, 24, and then 25. For 2025, year-to-date revenues are $13,663,542, and our year-to-date expenditures are $11,890,145. Taxes and franchise fees revenue is 3% greater than this time last year, so when we compare it to quarter two of 2024. And then the general fund's main source of revenue is sales tax, which accounts for 62% of general fund revenues. And then this slide shows our year-to-date revenue and expenditures compared to where we're at on the budget as of quarter two. So 50% of the year has passed, and we have collected 51% of budgeted revenues and expended 40% of budgeted expenditures for the general fund. Here you can see tourism tax year over year, so we show 23, 24, and 25 once again. 2025 tourism tax revenue is 8% greater when compared to this time last year, and the total year-to-date revenue is $7,157,293. And then you can see on the next slide, we compare this to budgeted revenues for 2025 budget, and we're coming in at 42% of budgeted revenues and 15% of budgeted expenditures. Here we move on to transportation year over year. Year-to-date revenue is 2% greater than it was in quarter two of 2024, and our expenditures and transfers out have decreased when we compare it to 2024. And then here, once again, we compare it to budgeted revenues and expenditures, coming in at 43% of budgeted revenues and 31% of budgeted expenditures for the year. We move on to public safety, which revenues have increased 3.86% in 2025 when compared to 2024 over quarter two. And then when we look at compared to the budgeted revenues, we've collected 50% of budgeted revenues and expended 37% of budgeted expenditures. Next, we have water and sewer revenue compared to 23 and 24. We have an increase in water and sewer revenue when compared to 2024. This increase is mainly contributed to penalties and interest that we've collected in 25 when compared to 2024. And then the next slide shows where we're at compared to budgeted revenue and expenditures, coming in at 59% of budgeted revenues and 39% of budgeted expenditures for 2025. Up next, we have Parks and Rec. 2025 revenues, excluding grants, has increased by 9% when compared to 2024. And this is because they received a huge grant for ARPA funds in 2024, which we did not receive in 2025. So this is all revenue that they have made, with ball program revenue increasing $68,000 when compared to this time last year. And here we compare it to budgeted revenues and expenditures, and we've came in at 45% of revenue has been collected and 39% of budgeted expenditures have been expended. Here we can see our tourism tax collections. Remember, these are 1 month behind. So we collect it, the businesses collect it in 1 month, and then we collect it the next month, and that's how we're reporting on these graphs, is 1 month behind. So amusement tourism tax has increased 9% when compared to this time last year. Theater tourism collections are up 20% over quarter two of 2024. Hotels and motels have increased 2% over this time last year. Tourism tax for campgrounds are less than they were in quarter two of 2024. Short-term rentals have increased 8% over quarter two of 2024, and restaurants and concession tourism tax increased 5% when compared to this time last year.
Yeah, can we look at that?
Yep.
Where'd you say theaters were?
Theaters are up 20% over this time last year.
Yeah.
You know, it's good to see because, especially at the TCD level, there was a lot of alarm maybe in the January time frame of down 40 some odd. I mean, it was a crazy number. And it does seem like we were down in January, but it seems like we've been up since then. Really positive. Obviously, we had a really good summer. So yeah, that's exciting.
Wow.
Clay?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
And I guess just for a point of reference, I mean, this is kind of showing that leveling off of the post-COVID 3 years that we had these, double-digit increases, and we've not gone backwards on any of that, but we're hitting that, that 2.5 to 3% annual growth, which we only budget for 1%, so we're above, where we should be. But, this is just kind of the complexion of what coming out of that those COVID years has done, and we're still growing, so that's a good thing. So.
Yeah, and the theater, 20%, that's, yeah, I'm a theaters. I mean, I'm seeing that I can only speak on mine, but that does not surprise me based off what we've been seeing. Anybody else? Okay, thank you.
And then these graphs show our sales tax collections year over year. So you can see our unrestricted sales tax is 5% greater than Q2 of 2024. And then for public safety tax and transportation sales tax, it's 2% greater than 2024. So even though it's 2%, we budget super conservatively on that, and so we're meeting what we've budgeted, and so that looks good. We're not seeing it completely flat at zero, but we are seeing a little bit of an increase there. Are there any questions on these graphs?
I don't think so. Oh, Glenn, go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, not on this slide, but just a general question for you. I was digging through the financial report that you had put on the agenda for the Finance Committee. And I was looking at interest income and trying to sort out where we were with that. And it looked like, unless it's a posting issue, it looked like all of our interest income was well below 1% of fund values.
And that's just how we report that based on when we're receiving it, because we don't, if it's not hit yet and we haven't seen that, we don't post it. So we only post that when it's received.
What are you kind of expecting this year? I know last year I think you changed fund managers to try to get a little bit better management of that. Do you have an estimate what it'll be?
So I don't have an estimate right now, and I will get a quarterly report at the end of this month to kind of tell us where we're at with all of that. So we changed everything, right? And then that changes how your investments are looking when you kind of just switch everything over. So we are going to come in right where we budgeted this year, and we should see a bigger increase next year. And we can present on that with Q3 financials on how those investment income is supposed to come in, since we did switch advisors and have PMA as our asset manager right now.
Could you just comment in general? I was also looking at the debt picture, and it looks like in 2026, we've got 2 series of bonds coming due?
So at the end of 2026, in 2027, they'll actually become due in like March, so very early 2027 is when those will mature.
And what's the plan?
So we should be able to meet debt obligations based on what we're budgeting right now for 2026. We will meet those budget obligations with the current revenue streams that we have.
And then I heard we had a finance committee tentatively scheduled that didn't meet again, or, what's your perspective? Or it's not going to meet on the 11th, I guess. Is that true?
No, right now we have a quorum for the meeting on the 11th, and so we shouldn't have any issues with that meeting.
Oh, good, great.
You talking about the finance meeting? I have a morning show that day, so I will not be here.
Clay was not included in our quorum, so we have a quorum without Clay.
Good. Like it never happened.
They already wrote you off, Clay.
Yeah, he ain't coming.
This final graph does show our vehicle counts compared to tax revenue, and you can see that those directly correlate, right? So when we have more traffic in town, our revenues increase, and then they go back down when our traffic goes back down. And the reason that was as of April is because we collect 2 months behind and 1 month behind. So we don't even have we have the traffic counts as of now, but we don't actually have those collections.
The observation I had on this slide, it looks like there really is no significant correlation of the Highway 76 vehicle counts to general sales tax revenue, but pretty high correlation to tourism tax revenue. Is that the way you take it?
I mean, we still do see that correlation because you see an increase right there, and this is just 76, right? So no, not as much as you do with tourism tax revenue. You see it go up exactly the same, and sales tax kind of backs off. If we took all vehicle counts, you would see the direct correlation in sales tax as well, and not just taking 76.
And do you adjust these? I know on, let's see, on sales tax, we're 2 months behind. So
Yeah.
are you adjusting these charts to line them up to the
Yes.
actual tax period?
Yep, so that's why you see that as of April, because I can't, for the quarter two financials, I couldn't project those out further because we haven't received those collections from the state. Therefore, that's why it's as of April and then as of May, because those are when we've actually seen the numbers come in for those months.
Great, thanks.
You got more? Oh.
Any other questions?
Any more questions, board? We good? Thank you, Allison.
Thank you,
That's
guys.
great.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6593, an ordinance approving the easement agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission for the Neighborhood Rehabilitation Project for Hiawatha Heights.
You've heard the first reading of bill number 6593. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
Motion and a second. And Kendall is going to fill us in.
Hi, good evening. Again, this is an easement agreement between the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission and the city of Branson for the Hiawatha Heights project. It's a roughly 400 square foot easement to help us with our water main project. Happy to answer any questions.
Wow.
And this comes at no cost to us too, by the way.
Oh, that's a good thing to add.
He's not asking for money?
Yeah. No money. I'm assuming there's no discussion from the board? Anyone from the audience?
I'm really just happy to see this project moving along.
Yeah.
It finally is getting some traction, and, you know, for a while there, it was a handful of people that were holding this up, and you know, we've reached that, and through the diligent effort of our city staff, and it was diligent and consistent. So yeah, I'm just happy to see it continue on, because it's definitely needed, and it's just another way we're improving the infrastructure of our community, so.
Yep. All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
Thank you.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6594, an ordinance approving the waiver of building permit fees for certain low-income housing projects to address an immediate need for more low-income housing.
You've heard the first reading of bill number 6594. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved. Second.
We got a motion and a second. And now, Solon.
Yeah, so on this one, one thing that the city has heard a lot over the last little while is that we need more low-income housing. And so in order to try to accommodate that, push that forward, and incentivize developers to come to the city of Branson, we're putting forward this opportunity for certain portions of their building permit fees to be waived for certain types of projects. So in this one specifically, it's for LIHTC projects. And so basically any LIHTC projects that are applied for this year and are successfully awarded, then the city of Branson is willing to waive up to $50,000 worth of building permit fees in hopes that that brings developers into town and gets them going, and also helps them be successful in getting their LIHTC projects. So that's essentially what we're doing here. It's not a long-term ordinance. It's just for the projects that are applied for this year. Any questions?
Marshall's got one.
Has it ever been done before, Solon, to your knowledge?
Waiving building permit fees?
Specifically for this category?
It hasn't happened since I've been here, so I can't really speak to before that, but I've only been here for a year.
So it hasn't been done that, like Solon said, that we know of here, but other communities do things like this to try and help incentivize these types of projects.
Because it seems like it could, for sure.
Yeah. Anyone else? Ruth?
I'm in full support of offering this because we definitely do need to have a variety of housing in the city of Branson. As part of the process, will the board be presented each time that a housing project comes in and money is going to be awarded?
Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah, I would never want to make that kind of decision on my own. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. Even with your blessing here, I'd still want you guys to be informed. It wouldn't be a formal vote per se, but I think I could handle it similar just because of timing and how it might hold up their submittals. So, but I would definitely run it past you guys before I would approve something like that. I'd want to make sure you're supportive. But, you know, as long as it's no more than 50 grand, but still, you deserve to know.
Kind of similarly, do you have a feel for how many applicants we might get for this, or people that can take us up since we're already in September?
I think we've got 2 applicants that are here tonight, so I don't really anticipate anybody else coming forward at this point.
But certainly if there were others, they would be able to benefit from this.
And is there an appetite for continuing this into 2026, or?
I think, so for this specifically, I guess we would probably just want to come back to the drawing board and assess what our housing situation was like. I mean, if you look across the country, it's obviously an issue, not just here, but elsewhere. So I wouldn't imagine that, I mean, hopefully we'll, you know, ease some of those burdens now, and that's the idea here. But if it's, you know, if we come back and we think there's more, then yeah, I don't see why we couldn't do something else like this.
Glenn?
Just one more question, Kathy. How many, you know, roughly for these kind of projects, any idea for what percent the 50,000 you know, is of their fees? Is it half? Is it?
I think the applicant would be able better to answer that than I would. I don't know if you wanted to call Debbie or Riley. Did you guys want to come up? You got to come to the microphone, Riley. Do you mind, Mr. Chair?
Yeah, come on down.
Yeah.
I'm Riley Shantz. So we developed Fall Creek Townhomes, Cedar Ridge Apartments, and Bluffview Apartments. We calculate our total fees. We paid about $310,000 for those 3. So 100-ish thousand is about half, to answer your question. And the application cycle, they're due the 17th of September, so it's doubtful you would have any other applicants, but for us too. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that.
Anyone else? Nope. All right. Solon, you good?
I'm good, but I'm here for the next one, so I'm just gonna stay over here.
All right, well, let's vote on this one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill number 6594 for its final reading due to timing.
Do I have a
Second.
second? We have a motion and a second. Any members of the board wishing to speak regarding this? Anyone in the audience wishing to speak? All right, let's vote on the amendment.
Just reading it for the second time.
Yes, let's vote on reading, or having the amendment. There you go. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
All right, Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction for this item?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill number 6594, an ordinance approving the waiver of building permit fees for certain low-income housing projects to address an immediate need for more low-income housing.
You've heard the final reading of Bill number 6594. Have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any members wishing to speak? Any audience members? Madam Clerk? Okay, what are we doing, voting? Let's vote.
Let's
Are we
do
doing
it.
roll call?
Yeah,
Let's
it's
do
just
it.
because it's final reading.
Yeah,
Please.
roll call. Roll call.
Lucas.
Yes.
Howden.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Denham.
Yes.
LeBlanc.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a resolution of support for an affordable housing project known as Donnelly Crossing by Ring Property Company, LLC, located at 302 Scott Boulevard, Branson, Missouri, 65616.
So moved.
Oh. We have a motion and a second, and we'll now have a staff report from Amanda.
Good evening. At this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Robert Ring with Ring Property Company, LLC, the developer, to provide an overview of the Donnelly Crossing development and share his vision for this project.
Thank you, Amanda, and good evening, Mayor Milton and members of the board. Mayor Milton, wherever you happen to be, it's nice to see you. It's good to be here, and I'm very pleased and happy to be here. I'm grateful to be here in front of you. By the way, just as an aside, this is one of the happiest board I ever get to stand in front of. So you're to be congratulated for adding some levity to an otherwise routine meeting. So congratulations. It's really fun to be here. But again, my name is Bob Ring. I am a real estate developer out of the St. Louis area. And I will be presenting to the Missouri Housing Development Commission for their consideration of an award of federal and state low-income housing tax credits for a project to be called Donnelly Crossing. I'll try to be brief because you've seen this movie before. We've talked about this project. And that's not surprising because there are 4 projects submitted to the Housing Commission every year for every one project that gets an award. So persistence pays off, hopefully. We'll see. Donnelly Crossing, so I'll be brief. Where's it going to be? It's going to be about 2 miles due west of here as the crow flies, generally at the intersection of Frank Ray Boulevard and Gargis Way on about a 6 or 5 acre site. What's it going to look like? If I can, wow. The big button.
Can you? I'm so sorry. He's gone, and I'm not a good. It looks like it's locked up.
It's okay. There it is. There it is. What's the site plan going to look like? This will be a linear single building on the site. It'll be about a 40 to 42 unit building. We haven't quite arrived at how many units we're going to provide, but it will be known within the next day or two. But up to 42 units. This will be limited to seniors over the age of 55, so it'll be age restricted. The property will be constructed on a 2-3 split so as to accommodate itself into the topography of the site. The front of the building will be 3 stories. The rear of the building will be 2 stories. And there will be 2 means of ingress and egress onto the site. Shown from Frank Ray Boulevard, but I will say during our open for business meeting with your staff, it was recommended and requested that we consider moving that north means of ingress and egress, actually it's the east means, from Frank Ray Boulevard to Gargis Way. So our engineers are now considering how to best do that. And in retrospect, it does seem to make sense. We will also have a tree preservation area on the site so as to maintain the rural feel of the site. And there will be above ground detention of stormwater runoff shown there toward the east of the site. And that runoff will eventually wind up on Gargis Way into the stormwater system. What will it look like? It will be a 3-story building on the front, as I said, 2-story building on the back, and it will be about 35% brick, 65% cementous siding, which is designed to last. There will be a deed restriction filed on this property if we are awarded, such that it will be run as a low-income housing project for 30 years. So we have to build this thing to last. That is really what we are talking about doing. I'm asking you for your consideration for a resolution of support because without that, we just don't have the same kind of leverage that we would have otherwise with it. In other words, the Housing Commission awards points for community support, and we've got it here. We've always had it here. And for that, I'm very grateful. So it's in your court. I appreciate everything that you've done for me and the staff has done for me up to this point. I will say that this project, if it's awarded, will be located across the road from its sister property, which is known as Donnelly Ridge. And our timing here is very prescient in that we fully expect to be, I usually say pushing dirt, but in this instance, it's blasting rock as early as next week. So you'll see some activity on that side very, very soon. And for that, I'm also very grateful for the assistance and the help we've had here, both with the board and with the staff. Otherwise, I have nothing further to add, and again, thank you for letting me be here today, and I'll answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Ring. Good to see you again. And thank you for your persistence and wanting to build in our community, because we need it and we appreciate it.
Thank you. We love being here.
Anybody else?
Sure.
Ruth?
Mr. Ring, I would just like to really thank you for how you work with the city. You come so prepared, you check the zoning and the density, and I mean, you're so open with your communication with our Planning and Development Department, and it is a pleasure when we see projects submitted like this, that the communication's so open and your projects go through a lot quicker because of that open communication. Thank you for what you've submitted.
You're quite welcome. It's my pleasure, and your planning department is a lot of fun to work with.
Anyone else?
I just got more of a comment. You know, when I initially started running for the board, you know, one of the big questions was, you know, kind of low-income housing. And, you know, one of the things I've learned over the last several years is that, boy, it's a heavy lift to even have the opportunity to be able to do that unless you just got deep, deep pockets. And it's incumbent on the community support. And, you know, that's one of the things, and as Ruth said, the clarity and the veracity of information that you provided us made it so easy for us to make these decisions. And gosh, you know, this is one of the things I wish every developer could just come here, and I wish the government would do more, obviously. I mean, you said for 4 submitted, 1 gets approved, is that correct?
That's right, that's correct.
And the need is greater than that. So thank you so much for investing in our community.
The need is deeply, deeply great, and the resources are few. And that's why it's 1 out of 4.
Anybody else? Nope.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is a resolution of support for an affordable housing project known as Cedar Ridge Phase 3, located at 211 Rohana Way, Branson, Missouri 65616.
All right, do I have a motion adopting this resolution?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and a staff report from Amanda.
Before we get too far into this, we have a mistake on the paperwork that was presented on the name of the project. On the title of a resolution of support for affordable housing project known as Cedar Ridge Phase 3 should say Cedar Ridge East. Also in Section 1, the same, instead of Cedar Ridge Phase 3, it should be Cedar Ridge East. So I'm hoping we can make that amendment tonight, not hold up this project. With that being said, I'd like to invite Riley Shantz and Debbie Hart up. They are the developers for this project, and they have some details of their Cedar Ridge East project to share with you.
Hello.
Thanks, Amanda. Mayor, wherever you are, and members of the board, thanks so much for letting us visit with you tonight. As Mr. Ring just said, affordable housing is much needed in all over the state, but particularly in this community. And as Riley said just a minute ago, we have been fortunate to develop 3 other projects in Branson. We are delighted to tell you that those are all, 2 of those are complete. The 3rd one is finishing, and we have over 100 families on the waiting list for those units right now.
Which are those?
Fall Creek Townhomes, which is located on Thousand Hills on Gulfview Drive, Bluff View Apartments, which is just off Gretna Road, and then Cedar Ridge Apartments, which is close to Cedar Ridge East, which is just behind Harbor Freight on Rohana Way.
Thank you.
Sure. So we're here tonight, just as Mr. Ring is here, asking for support from the board. The reason the resolution, I just editorially want to tell you, the reason that the resolution was so important for the public support and the waiver of fees is that MHDC has gone to a point system, and they really want to see that communities where these projects are being located are actually participating and showing skin in the game, because as Mr. Ring also said, it's a very, very competitive process. So we thank you for that support of the fee waiver, because that's crucial in attracting these developments to Branson and giving you an advantage over other communities. So let me, without going on anymore, tell you a little bit about our project. So Cedar Ridge East will actually be a companion project to Cedar Ridge Apartments. It's going to be up to 48, well, it will be 48 units of 2- and 3-bedroom housing. This is really important because this will serve families in your community where there's a tremendous need. The way our project is structured is we'll have 15% of our units that will be set aside as workforce housing. That's important because that allows us to allow families to live in the development that actually make more than 60% of the area median income. They can go up to 80%. That's very meaningful because many times there are families that are just over income, and sometimes we have to turn them down that they can't live in our development. In addition to that, we'll also have some actual market rate units, which will create socioeconomic diversity within the development. The project, it will be service enriched. We think that's important for every development just because we're not trying to reinvent a wheel. You have a lot of services in Branson, but we do think it's important to give people access to services such as financial literacy, opportunities for childcare, summer care, and things that will help them move along the continuum. Our goal is not to keep people in affordable housing. Our goal is to have people move along the continuum to live their best life. I think you've got a sideways elevation. But imagine the roof on top. Our project will be a 3-story building, and I'm sure you've probably seen Cedar Ridge Apartments that are under construction. So from the site plan, I think you can see the cul-de-sac comes down. Cedar Ridge Apartments are the first, I guess, I'm not... To your left, I'm trying to describe to you based on what I'm seeing, and then we'll be adjacent to that, so we'll basically mirror it. There's a community space that we have which will allow residents an opportunity to gather together, and we think that is also important to create a sense of community within the development. The project it truly will be a companion to Cedar Ridge Apartments, so it will be a combination of brick and hardy siding. It's a very long-lasting, durable finish, and as Mr. Ring said, our project will also be an affordable project for 30 years, and so we pay a lot of attention to the quality of construction that we put into those. What we're asking you tonight for is for a resolution of support, just as Mr. Ring was, because it is a very competitive process, and to waive the fees, which you already did with your prior resolution. We're happy to answer any questions that you have, and thank you for your service to the community, and we're delighted to be a part of it.
Thank you. Any board members want to comment? Ralph?
I would just echo what I told Mr. Ring. Thank you so much for the involvement in our community. And, you know, again, it's just one of those things when affordable housing is an issue, for you guys to stand up and be that beacon of light for those families, I think is very important. And for the city to lock arms with you and join in on this is very important. So thank you so much for all that you've done.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh. Yes, Mr. Mayor. Look at him. There he is.
I just wanted to ditto the same comments. Mr. Ring and Debbie, what you bring to our community, we all know and agree that it is desperately needed. And the way you present things and work with the city, it truly benefits us. And as you can tell from our board, we want to support you in these endeavors. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Anyone else? No? All right, let's vote on it.
Really quick, so I believe we needed an amendment to address the incorrect word in the title, if we could get an official amendment. So Chad's going to pull it up on the screen here. Except, yeah, that's not it. Give us one moment. I believe it was phase 3 and it needed to be changed to east, and that's referenced twice.
Correct.
And there it is now on the screen. So in the title, phase 3 needs to be amended to say east, and then in section 1, the same.
So moved. All phase 3 references changed to east.
Is that sufficient?
Yes, sir.
So now we'll vote.
On the amendment.
On the amendment, yeah. Mhm. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
Okay,
Hearing none.
Result of the vote is 6-0. Now we need to vote on the bill as amended.
Need a motion?
One more. We already have it on the floor, so we just need to call for a vote.
Okay, let's vote on it as amended. Roll call, or?
It could just be a
Okay,
voice
all
vote.
in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6595, an ordinance amending Chapter 18 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to the Board of Appeals.
You've heard the first reading of bill number 6595. Do I have a motion approving the bill?
So moved.
Motion and a second. Solon.
This is just another tweak to this section. We had trouble filling our board all the way, and so we needed to have a way to break a tie and didn't have that accommodated in our code. So what we're doing here is amending it to allow for an appointment of a chairman that would have similar authorities as what you are experiencing right now, Clay, while the mayor's out. So they would have a tie-break vote to be able to make that board function properly and basically make it so it wouldn't be possible for a tie to happen so that the people that go to the Board of Appeals can get a decision. We don't want any scenarios where there's some confusion.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marshall.
So, Solon, do they, is this the only board that doesn't have a chairman? Because the only, in thinking through my question here, because conceivably, the Board of Appeals follows Robert's Rules of Order, right? So, I mean, wouldn't they, like, do they elect a chairman when they meet? Is that how it's been done in the past, or?
I'm not quite sure, but this would override any application of Robert's rules in that specific respect.
Y'all good? All right. Let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries.
Your Honor, I move to read Bill Number 6595 for its final reading due to timing.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any members of the board wishing to speak regarding this? Anyone in the audience? All right. Let's vote on second read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries.
All right. Madam Clerk, would you please provide the introduction for this item?
Your Honor, this is the final reading of Bill Number 6595, an ordinance amending Chapter 18 of the Branson Municipal Code pertaining to the Board of Appeals.
All right, you've heard the final reading of bill number 6595. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any members of the board wishing to speak? Anyone in the audience? Madam Clerk, would you please provide a roll call?
Lucas? Yes. Howden? Yes. Cooper?
Yes.
Denham?
Yes.
LeBlanc?
Yes.
Schultz?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 6-0. Motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6596, an ordinance approving the contract with Smokeball for illegal project management software and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
Smokeball. Yeah. You've heard the first reading of bill number 6596. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
So moved.
Second.
Second. We have a motion and a second, and Solon's going to tell us about Smokeball.
Well, so the next three, I will just give you a preview of coming attractions here. These are all for the legal department that you've created and city administration has created over the last year. In order to function properly, we got to have legal research tools, and we've had that. But when I got here, initially, we scrambled to get me added to the contract, and it was a one-year deal. But we found, as I looked into it, we can get some savings if we do a three-year deal. So in order to do that, we had to bring it to the board. That's essentially what we're doing here, saving the city some money. But this is our matter management software that the legal department uses, stores all the legal files.
Asking.
I think it's like $12,000 a year, and it's based on users. We have 5 users. It's somewhere in that range, pretty close, give or take $1,000, I think. So it's an amazing software. I mean, it does some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Helps us be really organized as a city.
Anyone else? No? All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
The result of those 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6597, an ordinance approving the contract with West Publishing Corporation and Thomas Reuters Enterprise Center for the legal research software and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the first reading of bill number 6597. Do I have a motion approving the bill?
So moved.
Motion and a second. And Solon.
This is the same, basically the same thing. So the last software was a software that dealt with managing our files internally. This software is one that is used, there's basically two main legal research softwares, Westlaw and LexisNexis. Westlaw has been around the longest, probably, I think. Anyway, it's probably the most broadly used by attorneys. This is how I get answers. So I got to be able to look up the answers. Don't always know them all on the spot, and that's every attorney's situation, but this tool is something that we're able to find the answers that we need for the legal questions that we have. And so in order to do that at a cheaper rate, we lock in the amount that they can raise us over the next 3 years if we do a 3-year contract. And so it's basically the same amount, we don't let the increase go beyond if inflation kicks in or something.
So this is a search tool for attorneys stuff?
Yep, really cool stuff, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Attorney Google. All right. Anybody want to speak on this? Okay, hearing none. Anybody in the audience? No? All right. Please vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, this is the first reading of Bill Number 6598, an ordinance approving the contract with Checkbox for legal department project management software and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
You've heard the first read of bill number 6598. Do I have a motion approving this bill?
Second.
Motion and a second. Solon?
This is another legal software. This one is one that we have not been using. The other two we've already been using. This is a new one. I'm really excited about this one, actually. It's fairly inexpensive, to be honest with you, but basically, other departments that have a lot of requests, such as the IT department, have abilities to have matter intake. So if I need something from IT, I can send them an email, and there's a generation in their department that says, hey, there's a need over here. They can track it, and they can tell you guys, how many matters are coming into their department. So this is a very similar tool for legal stuff, but it has a few extra kind of cool functions that will help us be more organized and responsive to the needs of the city. First, it has a system where the department requester or member of the board, whoever, can submit a request for a legal assistance. Then it's triaged into a queue that allows the legal department to go in and see the priority and how quick it needs to be done. It also keeps it on our radar so that we don't lose things in the shuffle. When I got here, there was nothing because there was no legal department. So I've been doing this with email, and it's very difficult to keep everything straight. I think right now I have close to 500 emails in my inbox. So you can imagine trying to make sure that I'm keeping on top of all those and sending those out to the different attorneys is difficult. And so the other thing this software does is it will automatically, based on what the requester is asking, know which attorney to send it to. So I don't have to look at it. It goes to, if our attorney that is housed over in planning, it's a planning thing, it immediately goes to them and they start working on it. If it's a contracts thing, it goes to the contracts attorney. Anyways, so the point is it doesn't have to see my eyes right away in order to get doled out to the other attorneys. It also has some other cool functions that will help us operate more efficiently as a legal department, but it has a dashboard that will be great for us to be able to report back on how many legal matters we're really handling. I mean, it's a lot. And I don't know how, anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff that we deal with. And so I'm excited actually to come back to you guys after we have some data and be able to show you what we're working on. I can't probably go into specifics in a public meeting, but there's a lot of things that we can show you. Okay, we've had this many requests for contractual, requests, or, whatever the legal need may be. Resolutions, like we saw tonight that I worked on. So it's exciting. It's a way that we can be accountable to the board on the work we're doing, and you can see some of the neat things that we have out there.
So it's like a portal, kind of, that approved people can get in, and it disperses and organizes. It saves a lot of time up front for, it literally will send it to where it needs to go.
Yeah, so we'll have to do some
I mean, you got a program.
work on the front end that will have like forms. They do have an AI function, but I did a demo and I don't think that it's quite where it needs to be, but maybe in a year or two it will be. And the AI portion, basically, it's a chat bot that works with the city staff. So it would say, you'd say, I need a contract, and then we'll say, okay, well, how much is your contract, and for how long, and what's it for? Is it for planning? Is it for parks? And it will be able to, as we train it, and it's an internal house, so no one, it doesn't go out to the world. It's very confidential. But it will train it so that the city staff, it will be able to work with the city staff and know exactly the questions to ask them in order to get all the answers for legal. And then it'll shoot it to the attorney, and off they go.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Solon, is this subscription, I guess, only good for our legal department, or could other departments within our city utilize this?
So it does have a contract management tool to it, but I don't know that it's the solution for our contract management process, but definitely I've looked at it.
Well, let me ask a little bit more specifically. Over the years, I've kind of talked with admin a little bit about the idea of, when we have different applications to different boards or things like that. Currently, we basically just use our email, but I've always thought that there could be like some kind of an online portal or something. Could that be utilized with something like this?
Once we get into it and play with it, there may be a way that we can set up a section for something like that, where it's like, like it can send it to an attorney, obviously, so we could set it up to send it to something else, maybe an internal box for, that specific type of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see once we get in there.
Comment?
Clay,
Yes, Mayor.
I had a question for Solon. Solon, will this also track the number of hours that some aldermen are using from our legal department and be able to report that back?
This one would not be able to do that. This is really internal city efficiency and organization software. Yeah. Our Smokeball has a timekeeping function, and when I was a private attorney in the corporate world, I used that, and so I've used Smokeball for a long time, but as a city attorney, it would be a waste of the city's resources for me to be putting in my time, so I don't actually do that.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Ralph?
I just want to know, I'm impressed by the complexity of these applications. I'm quite amused by the names of the
Yeah, right.
Smokeball and Checkbox. It's like a dynamic duo.
Hillary's nickname for the checkbox throughout this whole process has been Jackbox, but I keep telling her it's Checkbox.
Sounds cool.
That's a whole different game. All right, anyone else?
And I hope I'm not going to get myself into trouble. This is one we're trying to get as soon as possible. Is it possible to get a double read on that? And I don't think it's scripted.
I'm sorry, your mic cut out. Let's vote. No, I'm just kidding.
Hillary's gonna.
Is there, yeah, let's pass it. Yeah, let's pass it.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Hearing none.
Result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Your Honor, try to do this from memory. I move to read Bill number 6598 for its final reading due to timing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
There we go. Motion and a second. Any discussion on this? No. Let's vote on, what are we voting on?
Second read.
Oh, final reading.
Second on the,
Let's vote on having a second read. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to pass it, so we'll see. All right.
So, Your Honor, this is a final reading of Bill number 6598, an ordinance approving the contract with Checkbox for legal department project management software and authorizing the mayor to execute the contract.
All right, do we have discussion, or we just do a roll call?
so.
Go ahead and put it on the floor,
Do
really
we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so now we're going to vote on the final reading. Is this a roll call, or?
It would be a roll call.
Well, let's do it.
Okay. Lucas. Sure. Howden.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Denham.
Yes.
LeBlanc.
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes.
Result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries. Your Honor, the next item is appointments, which is in accordance with the Board and Committee appointment procedure for Category 1 appointments made by the mayor with approval by the Board of Aldermen. The mayor is putting forward the following name to be voted on: appointment of John Peterson to the Advisory Park Board to fill the unexpired term of Donald D. Hart, expiring June 2028.
Do I have a motion to approve the appointment for Category 1 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? No, hearing none. All right, let's vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Result of the vote is 6-0, motion carries.
Right on. Thank you, John, for serving on the board. Reports, Alderman Lucas.
That would be me. I just wanted to say what an awesome air show we had this last weekend. To see the Blue Angels flying over in formation like that brought back when I flew in the backseat of an F-16. And when the F-22 Raptor flew over us from behind and then headed up into the skies, and that rumble when he kicked in his afterburner, I had to take out my hearing aids. Almost had to get medicated. That's all I've got for now. Thank you.
All right. Tonight, I want to share a word of appreciation for the fresh direction our city is taking and how we present Branson to the world. For years, I've hoped we would find a marketing vision that truly reflects what sets Branson apart: our music, our shows, and the way we touch people's hearts. Our stages are more than entertainment. They are places where families come together, where veterans are honored, where faith is lifted up, and where memories are made that last a lifetime. That spirit is something no other destination can claim, and it deserves to be at the very center of how we tell Branson's story to the world. And that's exactly what's happening now. The Chamber has rolled out a brand new campaign built around one simple but powerful phrase: "Where my heart sings." If you haven't seen it yet, you'll be hearing it soon, and I think you'll find that it captures the essence of Branson better than anything we've had before. That's why it feels so fitting to see the Petersons, the very picture of Branson's family music tradition, singing the new theme song in these ads. Their harmonies are a reminder that what we share here isn't just marketing copy, it's real, it's heartfelt, and it springs straight out of the shows that made Branson famous. And if I might add a little humor, if the previous chamber leadership had actually sung their old campaigns to us, I probably would have liked them a lot more. Imagine a barbershop quartet or bluegrass band harmonizing "Your Vacation Needs Branson." Now that's a jingle we might remember. But in all seriousness, this new campaign delivers exactly what Branson has needed for a long time. "Where My Heart Sings" is authentic, inspiring, and it ties our future to our heritage. It reminds visitors and residents alike that Branson isn't just a place you go, it's a place that moves you, that lifts you up, and yes, that makes your heart sing. And I'll close with this observation. The bill we finished with tonight was Bill 6598, which means the very next bill to come before this board will be Bill 6599. That's significant because Bill 5599 was an important step, although we ultimately took a different direction in this journey to make and ensure the marketing of our community was sound. It feels fitting that the next major step in that journey is being marketed with "Where My Heart Sings." So to Heather Herman and the Chamber team, thank you. You've given Branson its voice again, and I couldn't be more excited about the direction that will take us. Thank you.
Thank you, Marshall. Alderman Denham, would you like to sing a song to follow that?
You know, I'll write one up and do it next time. No, I totally agree with Marshall, and a happy one-year anniversary to Heather Herman. They're doing a fantastic job at the Chamber. And I just wanted to say the Blue Angels were amazing. Scared the tar out of me when planes came back from behind me and you weren't expecting them. I thought it was amazing to watch them perform, and also our Army's Golden Knights, parachuters did an amazing job. Everyone that was involved in the Air Show, we are very blessed to have that in our community. And that's all I have.
LeBlanc.
My report tonight is, I just want to thank this community. You know, the heartbeat of, you know, what Marshall said is in the investment that entrepreneurs take every single day, that they invest within their businesses and in properties and things like that. I think it's an amazing thing. And, you know, and this last weekend or last couple weekends were pretty indicative of that, in that, you know, it was kind of like off-season times, but there were so many activities going on in our region, not just in our town, but in our region. I mean, multiple concerts on the weekends and multiple venues and the shows on the strip and the air show and all those things. And of people with vision and people with dreams. And, you know, I just thought of something. Branson is where vision and dreams come to manifest and make it happen. There you go.
Alderman Schultz.
Hey, thanks, Marshall, for the great comments. That was, I think, right on the mark. So, hey, I've heard a lot of really nice things from shop owners, from owners and others about the state of the Main Street project. And I especially heard a lot of comments about the gateway. People really love the gateway. And now that the stone, I noticed, I was walking up there today with Dr. Lucas, and I noticed the stone was going up on the thing now too. So it's taken on yet another character to it, but it looks just fantastic. And I've had comments over and over and over again from the merchants. And I even got a couple of comments just walking around when I'm kind of standing there looking at it. Somebody will walk up to the street and say, "That looks pretty nice, doesn't it?" So I think it's really going to play well. And I think when we get the zigzag lights up there, when those things finally arrive, I think that's just going to be the finishing touch to look up there at night. And now all we got to do is get all of our merchants to stay open at night, and this will be a really great thing. But major, major progress. So thanks to everybody that's involved in that. It really looks nice, and it's nice to see we're really down to the finishing touches almost, some striping and railing and benches and garbage cans and lights, and I think we can call it a project. So it looks beautiful. Also want to thank the city park crew. I noticed, and I had a couple of people that are walkers in that same area, that the North Beach Park, they spent a lot of time in there cleaning out all the brush that's along the lake itself and partly along the river there. So that thing now just looks fantastic compared to what it did. It was kind of overgrown, and, you know, it looks great. So thanks to everybody that was involved in that. And then finally, I was honored to attend the Elevate Branson Vision Dinner, their first one ever in the community. Huge, huge turnout. It was just amazing. They had Dr. Ben Carson as their featured speaker. So it was a pretty cool evening, and the who's who of Branson seemed to be there, and we're offering their financial support for the group as well. So it's great to see that group move forward as well. That's my report. Thank you.
Yeah, that gateway is amazing. I even tonight when I was driving to the city hall and I got right up to Whataburger and Wendy's, it's just like, it's in your face forever. My daughter's in town from Texas, and she was swooping down there. I was like, "Dad, that thing's so cool."
And great from the landing, too. No matter which way you look at it, it looks fantastic.
The placement, whoever's brains that was, whose brain was that to put it? Was that Michael? That was very well thought out, because you can just see it from everywhere. Kathy, you have anything? Oh, the mayor. Mayor, go ahead, buddy.
Hey, few things. I want to start off by saying that Marshall's comments and Ruth's comments, I ditto them. I couldn't have said it better. So, Marshall and Ruth, thank you for that. I do want to give an update on your mayor's health and prognosis. I can tell you that every day I'm getting better. Unfortunately, the time to return is being extended. I'm not recovering quite as fast as many of us hoped. I can assure you that I am putting in 100% nobody wants me to be back there quicker than I do. And I'm going to continue to work my butt off and report back to you, and hopefully be able to see y'all and give y'all a hug when I return. So, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Kathy?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing that up. I was going to bring it up in case you didn't. So thank you for doing that. And I just want to assure the public and the board here, the mayor and I are talking all the time. In fact, I think I'm talking to him more now than I was when he was here. And I'm just saying, we could back it off a little bit if you'd like, boss. I'm just letting you know. It's a bit much, but we very much look forward to having him back officially and physically in the saddle again. So thank you. And I just, again, want to give thanks and appreciation to the board, to my team, to our consultants, Baker Tilly and Lauber Law, for the extraordinary amount of work, to the developer team for the TIF project that you now officially, finally approved in full. It's congratulations to you guys, and thank you. And again, the next phase of the heavy lift is beginning now in earnest, and that's going to be lots of work in our planning department to kick it off, and building department, and of course, our work along with other community leaders in starting the fundraising campaign in earnest now for our indoor sports facilities. So it's going to be all hands on deck and making this longtime dream and longtime vision a reality for Branson. So buckle up. Thank you, sir.
I love it. All right, do I have a motion to adjourn the Board of Aldermen meeting?
So moved.
Motion is second. All in favor, say aye. 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 All opposed, same sign. Didn't hear none. Meeting's